Here again, Jeremiah Graves on the Gravedigger Report had a special guest, Jeremy Cooper from Cincinnati University, 6'4", 305 pounds, offensive guard. Can't say too much about this guy. This is going to add him to the show. Jeremy, what's going on, my man? How's everything going, champ?
It's going good. How you doing?
I'm doing good, doing real good. I should be asking you that, man. You got you got some great things, going on for yourself, man. You just came back from, the NFLPA, game, and you're actually moving forward in your productivity and making some huge strides, in going forth with this 2023 draft. But we'll actually catch up on that. But for the listeners and viewers and followers, I definitely wanted to invite you onto the show because I want to know a little bit about Jeremy Cooper, the offensive lineman, from Cincinnati.
Yeah, so born and raised in Chicago, Illinois. On the south side. I went to Mount Carmel High School. Grew up in a one-parent household by my mother and my little brother. We'll see my dad on the weekends and everything. Had a pretty good life growing up. My mom really just taught me about the things about just being able to play football, but also be good in the classroom as well. She always told me that, you can't really play sports without being great in the classroom. So the first thing I always wanted to do was, be good in the classroom and get my grades right. So when I was younger, she always just stressed that to us. She was just telling us that, in anything in life, you have to be educated, whether if you want to play sports or if you want to just go to the school route as well. So, from a very young age, I decided, that I would, play football and, also do it at the school as well. And whatever takes me, whatever path, I would choose that path. And I'm blessed to say that I'm at the spot I am right now, through the hard work and dedication throughout these years that I put into it. I think that the things that my mom instilled in me, my father instilled in me can speak volumes to today.
Yeah.
Just like just hard work, dedication, and, being tasked, really on your task and really locked into what you want to do, never allowing anybody to tell you what you can and cannot do because it's, you should define the odds. Growing up as a Black young man, everything may not be easy for you. You kind of navigate through life and navigate through things that you're given, you know what I'm saying? So you may not be dealt the best hand, but, also know in the back of your head that, I can do what I can if I just apply my mind to it. So, like I said, Southside Chicago, went to Mount Carmel High School, played for Frank Lindsay, had played there those 4 years, ended up getting a scholarship to Cincinnati, with other list of other schools as well.
How was that whole recruiting process for you, when you're at Mount Carmel High School, in Chicago? How was that?
So I would say that it picked up after my junior year. So going into that springtime, that's probably when I got all of my offers for real.
Okay.
Because I committed the summer going into my senior year. So I think it was the day of my birthday. Actually, I was like, I'm gonna just commit. So my birthday's in June.
You just go. I'm just gonna commit.
Yeah, I'm just commit, bro. So my top schools at that point were Cincinnati and really South Dakota State. There really wasn't any other schools that really kind of popped up the radar. If I didn't go to Cincinnati, I'd probably be at South Dakota State. So I think I remember it too. It was either the day before or the day after my birthday. He's like, you know what? Let me just make the decision. You know what I'm saying? Football season's gonna start in August. I'm like, I don't really want to think about this going to my senior year. I just want to play football. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it was pretty easy for me. I took my visit to Cincinnati and I loved it. And I love what Coach Fick was preaching and what he was doing there at the time. And that's the reason why I committed there.
Understood. So, heading into that year, you went ahead and committed to Cincinnati. We all know that that could be a stressful time. However, it's a good stressor, but nonetheless, you want to go ahead and still, be able to perform, at an optimal in case, some, other, offers might come onto the table. So you went ahead and you graduated. And I know, your parents, you spoke very highly about your parents. I know they're definitely behind you. Can you tell us a little bit about that transition from high school, being recruited and then going into your freshman year at University of Cincinnati? Because at that time, Cincinnati was, they were good. They were good. Now you guys are at a different platform within the BCS. and you were able to cultivate that culture. But we'll get into that. But just speak about that transfer for you.
So basically going to my senior year, then going into college, basically.
Yes. Yep.
So I would say that. So I was coached under Frank Valenti at Cincinnati or at Mount Carmel, and he really gave us the ropes of how to carry yourself as not only like a football player, but as a young man in the in the space and environment that you grew up in. So I would probably have to dedicate a lot to the coaches that came before me. So Frank Valenti, Coach Dom, Coach Listen, all of those coaches that really paved the way for me and put me into where I am now. I would say that going into my freshman year, I really was I would say I was the top lineman that came in. Not to be talk too much about myself, but I was really
I know that. That's the reason why I knew that. That's why I wanted to bring it up. But go ahead.
Yeah, so like that was my freshman year. I dominated everything. So like I was the only offensive lineman that could do a pull up. It was kind of weird, but like I was the only one that could do like multiple at the same time. Like I was the fastest, pretty much the biggest too. I came in around like 320, 315. I got up to like almost 325 like my freshman year. And my coach was like, all right, chill, like, back down a little bit. But, I was fairly really strong my freshman year. I expected to play. The only reason why I didn't play is I had a 6-year senior that was above me from Ohio State that they might be, before me. So I redshirted my freshman year. But, I really came into Cincinnati just being a workhorse, doing what I can on the field, off the field. And, I really flow really well to that.
Okay. Now, from the freshman year heading into the sophomore and junior year, what took place for you? Because at this time, as of right now, you're heading into the 23 NFL draft. You were just at the NFLPA, game and practice. You're making some waves, some huge waves, and your name is out there. What took place, for you to be, in this particular spot that you're in as of right now?
Man, so if I'm being perfectly honest with you, I started at Cincinnati. I started at Cincinnati at a really young age. So I was a 19-year-old kid. I made my first start. It was like September 4th, 2019. I think we played UCLA at Cincinnati. It was a night game. I was a little nervous, but not really too nervous. I was like, I'm meant to be here. This is what I'm supposed to do. This is what I'm meant to do. So, we played against UCLA. We beat them.
I remember that.
Yeah, that was the big thing. So we played them. So that's the second year we beat them. We go on to play Miami of Ohio, I believe, and then Ohio State. And then the fourth game of the year was Marshall. And that's kind of where things kind of went down for me. So like those first 4 games, I was, I made some mistakes, but I was slowly improving to where I wanted to be. And right when we got to like that fourth game, Marshall, I was like right where I wanted to be. Like, I was making pancakes. I was moving people, moving my feet right. Again, like I was young. I was 19 years old. I was going against guys that were 24, 25, 23. You know what I'm saying? I was still doing well. So for me, it was like the 15th play of the game. My running back comes up and tries to chip the D lineman, but he ends up chipping me. And when he chips the guy, or when he chips me, like he hits my knee. And my knee kind of buckles, and I tear my MPFL. So it was kind of like the friendly contact. I was hit by my own guy, but I missed the rest of that season. I was kind of I was down. I'm not gonna lie to you, because that was a time where I was always playing football. I never really not played football. So like to see guys play and knowing that should be me out there, it was kind of disheartening a little bit. But I came back. I grinded through that. When going to that spring, I played in the spring ball and all that type of stuff. I think that's when the COVID happened. So it was spring 20. That's when COVID happened.
Okay. Gotcha. Yep.
So going to spring 20, the world basically shut down. So it's like I had to go back to Chicago, and at that time, obviously, I came off a knee injury, so I'm rehabbing my knee. Okay. And it's not where it needs to be. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I still got time where I got to, get back. So I called my attorney. I'm like, I need to come back to Cincinnati as fast as possible. You know what I'm saying? Right, I got a season coming up. So so now this is going into that 2020 season.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. Yep.
I go back to 2020. I go back, in the spring or whatever, go through that. And I'm feeling okay. I'm not really all the way where I need to be again. So we get to that point. camp 2020. I'm in the game, but I'm not really moving the way I want to be. You know what
Exactly.
I mean? I missed like probably 2 or 3 months of my recovery because of COVID, basically. So I was kind of like, behind the 8 ball. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I had to, really get on top of that. And I lost. So going into that season, the Tuesday before our first game, my grandmother passed away. And that kind of really shocked my world. Like that was like, man, that was like my second mother. You know what I mean? So it was it was the one, like, whenever I get sick, whenever I needed, like, time of encouragement, whenever I wanted somebody just to pick me up, she was always there. And not to have her no more, or not to be able to speak to her, I'll talk to her at the games, at the practices. You know what I'm saying? Like she got me into football. Like she bought my cleats, she got me my red shirt when I was younger. You know what I'm saying? She, my jersey, all that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? She was always a supportive. And to not have her in my life, I would say that I'll be lying to say that it didn't change me as a person. You know what I'm saying? It really it broke me in a way. You know what I'm saying? It had to, and so going into that again, we're coming off of COVID. So she dies the Tuesday before the game, and I'm like, I tell my coach, I'm like, hey coach, I really I'm trying to lock in, but I'm really kind of not there. You know what I'm saying? So I go into the game. We play Austin Peay the first game. All white. It's COVID, so nobody in the stands.
Exactly.
I played pretty well. You know what I'm saying? You can kind of tell I'm kind of favoring my knee a little bit, but I'm getting back to where I need to be.
Okay.
We play Navy. Then I had to drive back to Chicago because we had the funeral that next weekend. Drive back to Chicago, do that, and then we go back and play USF, I believe. So we play USF, won that game. The offense kind of we did okay those first 3 games. We kind of like made some mistakes as far as like we had some interceptions here and there. We wasn't really clicking all the way.
Right.
We go into the game after USF is the bye week, and I get COVID. So I get COVID. COVID kind of ran through our whole team. So I got COVID from our starting center at the time because obviously he got sick and I'm his partner, so I got sick too.
Yeah, left guard, right?
Yeah, left guard.
Yeah, left guard.
So my practice partner was our starting center, and he said he wasn't feeling well, and I'm like, man, I just feel like I'm a partner. I just know. Yeah. And literally 5 days after he got sick, I got sick too. So it was like, I got COVID, so I didn't play that next game because I had COVID. So then I'm coming off of COVID now. So I'm coming off of my grandmother injury, and then COVID on top of that.
Exactly.
I'm coming into that next game, and I'm like, well, I've been a starter. I'm going to come back. I'm going to play, and basically my coaches tell me that the game that I didn't play, the offense like scored like 45 points. They did really well, and they were going in a different direction. And they said, they wanted to put some different guys in. Not saying that I was the reason why we didn't win, but they felt that the guys that was in, they did really well, and they in my absence, so they basically played the rest of the season. I didn't really see the field as much. And that kind of gave me more motivation and kind of really driven me to go into that next season. Right. So now we're past 2020. We're into that 2021 season, and like I think that's when that switch. That's when it turned
on, huh, Jeremy? That's when it turned on.
That's when that switch really turned on for me. So it's like, you know what I mean? It was coming off the past 2 years. I had an injury. I had COVID. I had a death in my family, and my world was just all over the place. You know what I'm saying? I'll be lying to you if I said I didn't go to a dark period where I was like, maybe football not for me. You know what I'm saying? Not saying I couldn't play football, but like it was just stuff that happened that I couldn't control. I couldn't control my granny passing away. I couldn't control my injury. I couldn't control, me not even being able to play as far as like on the field because of what my coaches felt. You know what I'm saying? There was things I couldn't control. So I knew that going into that next offseason, going to that next season, of what I could control is my thought process and how I thought about it, how I went about it. So that's like I said, that switch just came on. I was like, I'm not going to be denied. So like whatever I got to do is whatever I got to do. I'm trying. I say the way hope. Thank God I didn't never got COVID again after that. Going to that next season, again I play all the games. I dominate against Indiana. I dominate against Notre Dame. I dominate everybody that's in my way. So then we go to Alabama, and that's basically kind of what put me on the map because of how well I played against Alabama. Because I I held my own, and not only did I held my own, but I played really well. Like obviously we didn't win the game, but as a personal, just me, I played really well as far as just me. So after that season, that 2021 season, that's kind of when like the scouting and the agencies start picking up. You know, more people started noticing me. So,
Right.
you know, going into that 2022 offseason, this past year,
Right.
I was more so. I think I can be honest with myself. I think that not to say that the hype got to my head, but I think that one thing that I would want to change or wish I can go back and change is like my mindset on like spring ball or things that like were smaller. Like, you know, I was like,
Yeah, I know just what you mean.
you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I'm going for my 5th year. I've been here
Mhm.
4 years. I've proven what I can do on the field, off the field. I'm have a 3-6 in the classroom. I've
Right.
started all these games. I played again. You know what I'm saying? I've done this. I'm like, man, I don't really need to do spring ball for real. You know what I'm saying? This ain't
Right.
really
Right.
nothing beneficial. Like, you know, let the young guys play. You know what I'm saying? So I was like that. You know, I think that, and the difference between that was that we had a new offensive line coach come in. So I kind of had to reprove myself again. You know what I mean? In a
I
way,
know.
you know, because I mean, obviously, my offensive line coach knew me before, but he's like, I don't know you from anybody. I don't know who you are. So I would
Exactly.
say that, you know, 2022 was like in its own way of struggle as far as just the mental aspect because of having me. I had to reprogram myself and reprove myself to a new guy. You know what I'm saying? So going to that 2022 season, uh, we come out, we play Arkansas. I played really well against Arkansas.
Right.
Played well against Kennesaw State, Miami. That next game, I think we have Indiana. Play well against them. Then we have a series of like USF and Tulsa.
Mm-hmm.
I end up getting injured in practice the Tuesday of Tulsa. So I ended up not being able to practice on that Wednesday, but I ended up practicing on the game, and I played in the game. I played really
Okay.
well. Played against USF and Tulsa. Go out that season, and then we went against UCF, and we had lost that game. That like, you know, ended the streak of like AAC games we won in a row or something like that. So
I
that
remember
was
that.
that was kind of disheartening. You know, I would say that I didn't play the best game I had. I was kind of going through some things off the field as far as just like mental health. If I'm being perfectly honest with you, that I was kind of dealing with, and it was some things that I had to handle. And you know, I made some mistakes. Like I said, I sat down with my coach, and he basically told me, you know, you made like these 3 crucial mistakes, and he wanted to, you know, put somebody else in the game. So, you know, going into that next game, it was Navy and ECU. I was kind of rotating with this other guy, another guy on the team that we had, and like I said, it was disheartening because I knew that I had full capability of what I do, and I knew what I can put on the field. I knew that I was just, you know, I made 3 mistakes in the game. I didn't give up a sack. It was more so I gave up a couple of pressures, and like some things I made like just kind of
Yeah.
little small errors,
like small errors based on cadence and blitzes.
Right.
I know. Gotcha. Yep.
Right. And then we go into that. I think the next game after that is Temple, and he sets us down. He's like, you know, I'm gonna play all 3 of you guys, and we're gonna rotate and see who plays the best, and basically, you know, let the best guard, you know, win.
Right.
And you know, I personally feel like I performed the best. I mean, other guys can say what they want. You know, I feel like,
Right.
you know, I asked my teammates, and so that's another thing. But you know, we go into we play Tulane. Again, this is, if we win this game, we go and play in the American Conference Championship.
Right.
And obviously, you know, we didn't win the game. We ended the like 30-31 game winning streak we had at Cincinnati at home. We had lost that game. I felt that we could have had some different changes. You know, I'm not really gonna speak on everything that happened, but it was some things that could have changed. But you know, it was a good season. You know what I'm saying? We did what we did. We ended up playing against Louisville, and we didn't win that game either. But, you know, I feel like we, as a whole, you know, as far as that 2018 class and what we did to make Cincinnati to where it is now, you know, like, it's really, you know, kind of really monumental what we did. And I think
it definitely is, Jeremy, because you guys changed the culture of, you know, football, you know, at Cincinnati. When I think of Cincinnati, or, you know, coming up from Ohio, I thought about basketball. You know, no, they always had a, you know, great football program, and you had certain individuals that would go out and go to the NFL and have a great, you know, shot like how you do of playing in the NFL as well. But you know, I thought about basketball. Now, when you think about Cincinnati, you think overall is just as far as from the team and the fans, you like they're there, you know, and that's because of your class, you know, and mainly because of, you know, yourself, you know, individuals, you know, such as yourself. So as of right now, I see that, you know, you have the hype, you know, going into, you know, the 2023 draft, you know, based on, you know, the 2018 class and what you guys were able to do.
Right.
It actually sticks out like a sore thumb. How do you feel about yourself being, you know, one of the top offensive linemen, you know, going into this 23 draft, you know, that individuals, that scouts do know about because of your play against Alabama and they're on?
You know, it definitely feels good to kind of get that recognition as far as like, you know, games like the NFLPA and stuff like that, and be like, you know, recognized as one of the top seniors that's coming into this class. But you know, it's always more work to be done.
Right.
I think that's the main thing I look at, because it's always going to be those doubters. There's always going to be those people that said you can do better, or you're not this guy, you're not this height, you're not this and that. But I think the one thing I can honestly say that I've stayed consistent in is just keeping all the outside noise, because I know at the end of the day what I can do, and I know that my game works, and I know that it translates to the next level. So, it feels good, you know. I'm like I said, I'm down here training right now, and it feels good to just, you know, get that journey started.
No, now, so as far as you're down training, what location are you training right now?
I'm training in Austin, Texas at ROI.
Okay, so you're down there training. What is the day in the life with Jeremy Cooper looks like? You know, from working out, from nutrition, what does that look like?
Yeah, so our schedule is Monday through Saturday. Sundays are off days. So
okay.
Yeah, so that
for now.
Yeah, for now. For now is our off day. So Mondays and Thursdays are our upper body days. Tuesdays and Fridays are or Mondays and Fridays are our lower leg days, and then Tuesdays and Fridays are our upper body days. Wednesdays and Saturdays are recovery days, like kind of like moving around, getting stretches and stuff like that. So a normal day for me starts about like 7 a.m., 6:45, depending on when my alarm goes off.
Right.
You know, kind of get up, get stretched out, you know, get some water, you know, get hydrated again. I usually leave towards the facility around 8:30. Our workout starts at 9:30. I come in early, get a little stretch, get things going, like kind of get, you know, moved out and everything. So our morning session from 9:30 to like 11:30, we have like field work. So we work on like L-cone, 40, work on like our stances, our starts, top end speed. And on Tuesdays and Fridays, we have individual field work. So like offensive line specific stuff I have. I'm working on with a couple other guys, like backs and linebackers and everything. So from that period, from 9:30 to 11, that's what we're doing, field work. And then we have like a period, like 2-3 hours off where, you know, we have lunch. So we have all our meals are catered. So we have a guy that comes in, he gives us breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So usually I eat my lunch around like 1, because I lift at 2. And we go through the lift. Usually I'm done around maybe like 3:34, depending on like, you know, my recovery schedule. So I get my lift in, and then I got the sauna in the cold tub, stretch again, maybe get like some stem and heat, and then I'm back at the hotel. So
yeah, and then you're back at it.
We're staying at a hotel like right down the street.
Okay. You know, just go ahead and get ready, you know, for pro days and things such as that. How's the overall nutrition, you know, for you, Cooper? Like how's that differing, you know, from college? You know, is there a certain diet that you're on as of right now? Do you want to get up to 325, or you at 325? Like, how's that look for you?
Yeah. So like for me, going into this past season, I became full-on pescatarian. So I eat just straight seafood and fish, and I wanted to cut out like a lot of red meat. Periodically I may throw in some turkey or something like that, but like it really is just straight fish though. But I just wanted to, you know, clean my system out, clean my body. Like no one really knows this, but yeah, thank you. When I went to when I played Alabama, I was at 355, and no one really knew this, but you know, I gained that much weight because of the guy that I was going against. So the guys I was going against, you know, they were 6'4", they were 320, they were bigger guys. And, you know, I played that season. I played that season around like 325, 330, but I was like, you know, I seen the film, they was bull rushing guys, throwing guys to the ground. I'm like, yeah, that's not gonna happen. So I beefed up a little bit just
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? I really didn't need to. I didn't need to get that big. So I wanted to scale down and lose more weight. So I went from 355 to 325 or 330. I lost that weight again going into that next season.
Okay.
And right now I'm standing around 320, 319. You know, but I think for pro day I want to get between 315 and 320. I think is like my good range. I think I'm able to like move and be healthy and feel good, feel up. Like I just kind of had. It's funny you asked me because I just had that talk with my trainer today, and he was like, you know, I think you've been kind of scaling around like 320. You feel good around that weight? I'm like, you know, I feel good. I feel like I can move and you know still move around and not be sluggish. I think that was just the main thing of just being able to move and feel powerful and be able to move in my movements.
Yeah, because you know, there's a big difference between it seems like that extra 10 pounds dipping into 330. You know, from 320 to 330, people don't think like, hey, that's only 10 pounds, but we're at 300 already. So the extra 10 pounds could then 330 can dip off into a, you know, a unlevel place that we just don't want to be at. So that's great. And especially if you're at 320, if you lose 5 pounds, you're at 315. That's very athletic for your size, you know, and for your height. You know, just to change gears just a little bit, related to your, you know, your invite to the NFLPA. How was that? How was the overall experience just being there with individuals that had that type of caliber of play, such as yourself, and also being there, you know, to, you know, talk to scouts and, you know, just, you know, knowing that, hey, this is the step where I'm at, this is where I'm invited, and this is what I'm going to be, you know, used to.
Right. So I would say that whole entire week was very, very much like informational. And I learned a lot from the NFLPA. So like, you know, I love the whole setup. You know, we were downtown LA at the LA Continental, and you know, the setup was great. You know what I'm saying? Like the hotel was nice, the food was good, the service was good. I mean, the days were long. So our days, I wake up every day at 6 a.m. and I didn't probably go to bed till like 11. So that whole day, that was like my day started from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. and it was something to do between that whole time. So, you know, we had breakfast, you know, I got on the breakfast around like 6:30, 6:45. The bus left the hotel at 7:15. We left to go to practice. We started practice around 8:39. And then from like 9 to 12, we had, you know, practice, shower, you know, get dressed. We had lunch back at the hotel around 1. Then our meetings, you know, went from like 3 to 6. At 6:30, we had dinner. And then at 7:15, we had it was kind of like every night at 7:15 we had like an NFLPA presentation. So the first night it was talking about basically like wealth and like keeping your money in your pocket, basically. How to, you know, because I mean, obviously we're stepping into a new realm where you may get a little bit more, you're going to get more money than what you're used to, and how to navigate that range and be able to not just spend on and blow all your money. So every day we had a certain different thing. So the next day was like the X and O's of the pros. So we went in different rooms, and I was able to speak to Ronnie Stanley and guys like Andrew Wentworth, and they were just giving us, you know, pointers on the game. And it was really I took down so many notes and different, like, you know, just viewpoints on how they were, you know, go about the game, the ups and downs of the game, how they felt. We had different guys speak. It was like Richard Sherman, Calais Campbell, Eckler, multiple, like a long list of guys that came back and talked to us that really helped me, you know, kind of get an idea of what the league was. And not to say I didn't know it before, but, you know, they basically kind of emphasize that it's cutthroat. You know what I'm saying? It's very much white and black. It's kind of straightforward. You know, if you can do the job, you're there. If you can't do it, you're done. They're gonna have, you know, they're gonna try to drive 3 or 4 more guys that can do the same thing as you, maybe better for a lower price. And it's a business at the end of the day. You have to carry it and know it's a business. And, you know, I think that the thing that I would say that helped me a lot was just them explaining to us of like the business aspect of it. It's not like college anymore. It's about money. You know what I'm saying? It's a GM that has all the money and he's deciding if he really wants to add to the team or not. And you have to make that roster every single year, no matter if you're a first round draft pick to a 3rd round draft to a 7th round to an undrafted guy. Like, no matter who you are, you have to make that team. You have to know, you have to show them why they picked you and why you're there. It's not like, you know, you get there, you're the guy. You know what I'm saying? This guy behind you is like hungry dogs. So you got to really understand that like they trying to take your job just how you trying to take their job. And I think that whole entire week, I would say for me was very, very like informational and informative to like of what I needed to do and how I need to have my mindset to be at that next level.
Yeah, and I think that kind of played a huge role on your process of how you're working out as of right now, your whole trajectory going forward. So that leads me to this question as of right now. Far as for yourself, why would you consider yourself as one of the top offensive linemen in the 2023 draft going in?
I mean, for me, it's really just my work ethic, and then my determination of how I really want to go about it. I don't believe that there's any guy that can outplay me, and I personally believe that it's just how I can play and how physical and I can go out there and dominate somebody. And I know that obviously, there's other guys in the draft, and like I respect every guy that's there. But to all due respect, I know that the guys that I played against, and I know what I've done to them, and I know what I can do. So I personally believe that I belong. You know what I'm saying? I belong where I want to be, and the time will come. I pro day and everything will come in, and pray to God I get the invite to the combine, and just to show my talents, and once I get on the team, once I get drafted, or however it works, I know that stepping in and coming to that first day that I'm going to be a guy that just works and proves them to them why I'm there and need to be there and be on the team.
Exactly. Now, going into your pro day, what are some of the the emotions and thoughts and feelings do you feel that are really helping you at this time? What are you doing differently other than from being at the NFLPA? That practice. Now you're training. You have all the the extra amenities. The food, the trainer, the hot tubs, and etc. Now going into that pro day. And I know how that pro day is. When you have the scouts out there, it's just you're working out. It's like, hey, this is money day. That's really what it is. How do you feel about that? Just going forward and being a couple weeks away.
Right. If I'm being perfectly honest with you, I'm really like it's really like peaceful and calm for me. It's like I try to go into it with just a mindset of like knowing that I really put the work in these last 6 or 7 or so weeks of just training, and I know that I've really put the time in. I put those hours in. I put the dedication in. I know that my numbers will be where I want it to be because of all the work that I put in place for that. So, I'm really excited to just show everybody just like the way I can move, my athleticism, being the size I am. I still can run. I still can jump. I still can sprint. I still can do everything at my and I think that once the scouts see that, I think that they'll think highly of me.
I definitely understand that. Well, you know what, Jeremy, man, we wish you the best here on the Gravedigger Report, man. Hopefully, definitely have you back, during draft day or during pro day, man. It's definitely an honor to have you on. One thing I can say about, you is that, you're a journeyman. You went through some adversity, through college, but here you are still at the level of what your dream was, and you're actually biting into that, and it showcases determination. It showcases vulnerability, but being able to be resilient during that time of hardships. And we all know that when we have a gift, we want to move forward. However, to get to that gift, we're going to be the bumps and bruises. And you have a testimony, man, because here you are now on the platform of saying, hey, this happened, but here I am now. And I think that, well, I know for a fact, Jeremy, that scouts are going to be able to see that hey, he had an injury, but he was able to recover. Hey, he wasn't able to play, a few games here and there based on life happened, etc. But you were able to, persevere. So that's a testimony of your character. That's a testimony of how you were raised. That's a testimony of your community and also who you are as an individual. So here in the Gravedigger Report, we definitely want to give you, your flowers prior to going. And we also know, I watched some film, I'm actually from Ohio. So I watched, you play at Cincinnati and seen the game where you played against Alabama and etc. So, hats off to you, man. And I know you're going places, man. And we wish you the best on your journey. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate everything. Thank you.
Definitely, Jeremy. You take it easy.
You too.
All right. So that's another show here on the Grave Digger Report. You can follow me, Jeremiah Graves, aka the Grave Digger, on www.gravediggerreport.com, or you can follow me on my Instagram, which is the Grave Digger Report on IG. Until then, take it easy, and always remember, moderation, including moderation.